What's going on, YouTube? RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting. Hope everybody is having a great Wednesday. Today's a big video. As you guys know, we got Rodney Roussell here with us, also known as Shakie. He's quite the YouTuber. He's actually sitting in the green room right now. We're going to bring him here in a second. Give everybody a second to join in. If you haven't done so, take a moment, subscribe, like, share, all that stuff. He's got quite the story, guys, and we're gonna jump into that in a few minutes. Many of you that know his story, I know probably 90% of the people in the room right now are all Shakie supporters. So much power to you guys for joining us, and I appreciate you coming over to my side of the Florida over here for a little bit. But before we bring him on, for those of you that don't know, as you know, he's getting ready to start a prison sentence of 70 months. He had prior done prison time, a little bit of state, some fed time, a total of 9 years. And for those of you that don't know, when we talk about sexual assault and rape, many of us make jokes about it and not even thinking second nature. Rodney really went through this. Shakie went through this to the T. And, as a gay man in America, a lot of people think, well, if a gay guy's going in prison, he must be in heaven. He must love these things. And that's not the case, guys. Just because, he prefers a specific gender, it doesn't mean that he wants to be taken advantage of and forced on. So there was an op-ed done on him through, let me pull it up here, guys, through the New York Times. Did a really amazing op-ed on him, a video op-ed on him. So I want to share that with you guys first. I want everybody to kind of see the individual that we're dealing with, the stuff that he dealt with, the triggering effects, and the fact that he's able to openly talk about it to help create awareness and kind of put a stop to this. And with PREA and rape in prison, I think it's amazing that he's coming on to share this story today. So we're going to share this first. So hang tight here, guys. Let me share the screen real quick. And here we go.
He's the one who famously said, "I'd take a bullet for Donald Trump." Well, now that he's looking at prison time, we'll see if he's willing to take a dick.
People think that prisoners deserve whatever they get.
Police report described him as 5'9" and 140 pounds. Or as his cellmate put it, just right.
I was forced to perform oral sex on several inmates. I was told, you aren't going to fight back, are you, sweetness?
Well, you're going to be going back to the showers. And the only speed you're going to reach is 88 dudes per hour.
Someone's going through that now. Someone's going through that right now. And to make a joke about it, it's a slap in the face. Being raped or sexually assaulted in prison is not part of the punishment. No one deserves that. We're still human beings. There's no guards that sit right here. There's nothing. There was nothing. It's like they had to come from way over here, which is the booking area, to come and see anything that was going on in here.
Hey.
Frank, what the hell are you doing in here?
Shower time.
What are you doing with that loofah?
Don't worry about it.
I was taking a shower, and in comes a guy.
You told me not to worry about it.
He says, "Bitch, face the fucking wall, or I'll break your fucking neck." I felt like dirt. I felt like I didn't even exist. I was just there. My bunk was tapped by a guy who then explained to me that he owned me. He had purchased me from the guy who anally raped me for $20 worth of commissary items. And I was now his property. He was my prison husband. If he wanted to utilize me to pay off gambling debts, I could be bartered. Talking to staff would have been the end of my life. Staff actually came on the tier, and my husband was saying, "Oh, watch what I can make my hoe do." And he made me dance for him and the staff member too. They all laughed about it. Staff shook his head and walked out the door like, "Oh man, y'all crazy."
Next up is Pearl. AKA Lil Bitch. I wonder who Big Bitch is.
That would be me.
Lucky you.
I had to sit down and urinate. I had to face the wall to shower. I was not allowed at any point in time to have any mention of me being a man or having a penis. I had to wear a tucker to pull back the genitals to give the appearance of a vagina. It's extremely painful to wear most of the time. I had to wear it all of the time. May just be as simple as me raising my voice and getting smacked, to me referring to myself as a he and getting punched. Any type of deviation from his rules were the threat of violence. I lost me here. I lost my humanity here. I lost my identity here. I lost myself here. And so the memories are coming back, so you're mad, and it's like I'm angry or something at the building. It's a weird feeling. And the people who can make the change, and the people who can affect the change, make jokes about it. If the story's heard and it's addressed and we can stop making the joke of it, someone won't have to go through this one day. Someone can go to prison, do their time, they can rectify their mistake, they can get their second chance. We have to start thinking of it like that. They're people. They are just people, and no person deserves that.
Well, that was quite the yeah, it's like the 20th time I've watched it now, Shaky, and it's each time it's oof, it's you know, anybody that's ever thought about going to prison, those are, for most people, it's the irrational fears, and for you this was your real life. So I want to thank you for joining me today. Shaky, everybody, thank you for coming on.
Having me. Thank you for having me.
Oh man, how hard is that for you? I mean, did you watch that often? Or
I watched it in its entirety maybe twice. Even then, I was just kind of like, I didn't watch it. I'm listening to it.
I could see you. I could see you looking away because
Yeah, I was just trying to keep myself busy. It does bring back a lot of memories of those times. Bear in mind, it's happened in 2008, so it's a while ago for me.
right.
But sometimes it feels just as real as yesterday, and so kind of like I just kind of distract myself, play with some of the stuff. I didn't watch it just now. I heard it though. So
Oof. Dude, it's, and I mean, and it was really well done. I think a lot of times when people try to get these messages across, the format they have to speak about it, or if it's just something in print, they took their time and made a production out of this. And I guess it flew out to New York and they came out to New Orleans. So how long did that whole production take to put together for that amazingly put together 5-minute video?
about a month altogether. They came and just the first part that came to New Orleans. We went back to the jail and filmed. It was a little rough there. It was a little rough there. That was kind of like the rough patch. I did have to stop a
Oh,
few times.
you went back to the jail?
Yeah, we didn't go in the jail, but we went to the jail, and it was kind of like uh, there was definitely a lot of breaks and stuff. It took a little longer than expected just because of the emotional aspect of it. Now, when going to New York, it was a lot easier because I wasn't there. The only time it was emotional was when they actually had the footage from inside the jail that I was actually pointing out. So it was definitely so it took about uh a couple weeks of production. Well, no, a couple days of production in New Orleans. A couple weeks later, I went to New York, and it was like a day. That was a 1 day thing.
So we have right now 30 some odd people watching. I'm gonna say, let's say 33 of them are probably all from your channel. So thank you everybody for coming over. You got
Thank
a lot
you.
of love here supporting you.
I love them too.
for the few people that are on my channel on a regular basis that are, my channel is directed and intended for the sole purpose of preparing people to go into the federal prison system. So for those people that are watching my channel for the first time that might be facing a federal prison sentence, I don't want you to necessarily think that his story is going to be your story. Most of my clients are going to a federal camp or a federal low security. So Shakie, you're 9 years in prison, and we're going to talk about, because you have another 70-month sentence getting ready to come up.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a second, but your first 9 years, how much of that was in a state prison? How much of that was in federal? And where did the sexual assaults, the rape take place? And how many times did it happen? I mean, was this like an everyday thing?
Yes. So being there, I was actually sold into sexual slavery. I was actually owned. I was property. So every time that the person who owned me wanted any type of, I was used to pay off gambling debts. Anytime that they wanted anything of me of a sexual nature, I was there for it. So it was an ongoing thing. It did happen in state prison, at Orleans Parish Prison, actually, where it actually occurred. So it wasn't. I just to reiterate what you were saying to your potential clients is that I did do federal time. I did about 4 years in the feds, actually, and about 5 years in the state, of my total 9 years. And in the federal system is literally a night and day type thing. It's a spring and fall. It's two different seasons, and so nothing like this actually happened to me in the federal prison. And I've literally been to not every, but I've been to a low, I've been to medium, and I did spend some time at USP Pollock. And so I've been to those three levels, and I didn't experience that in that way at any level of federal prison.
Good. Thank you for clarifying that. That way,
Okay.
I don't want to get a phone call going, Dan, I was supposed to self-surrender tomorrow, and I just got a plane ticket and a passport, and I just hauled ass to some non extradition country.
Right.
So now you're a gay man. You openly talk about being a gay man.
Yes.
How many people, not just inmates, or the people that have been through this, but what kind of backlash have you gotten? Because everybody thinks, I wish I was gay if I was going to go to prison, because then it would be like a vacation. It's not a punishment. Coming from your typical male that thinks things are so black and white. What was that like for you?
As a man or a woman that are straight, when you have sex with somebody, it's usually something that you choose that's like in an intimate setting that is what you want to do and how you want to do it, because it's an expression of love or expression of attraction. In prison, it's not that, especially when, even in the feds, it's not. It's so the sex in prison is of course against the rules. So even having sex in prison is, it maybe, I guess, it's trying not to get caught. It's in a closet. It's not intimate. It's not. It's not. It's not that. It's so you don't wish you were gay going to prison, and so it also too, from the rape aspect. If I'm sharing myself with somebody, it's my choice to share myself with somebody. In the aspect of rape, it was not my choice. My choice was taken away from me of who I wanted to share my body with, how I wanted to share it with, in a place and setting that I'm comfortable with. So it's like it's not this sex in prison in any aspect, whether it be consensual or non-consensual, is just not it's not what we're thinking. It's not at all close to anything that's emulatory of something that's in the free world.
And it sounds like you did your best. My microphone's on, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You did your best to report this, bring awareness to it, and listening to you on your op-ed there, your husband, and it blows my mind that, like, so you're bought and sold for, you said, gambling debts, and we'll talk about that too, but they would do this right in front of the guards and say, look what I can make my wife do. Or no, your hoe, you said they referred to you as a hoe.
I was a prison hoe. I wasn't a housewife. I was a prison hoe.
Was this like, when you see like old school, like the man tells the woman, you don't stay in the kitchen type things? Was it also very belittling? Were you treated different? or was it only
And
during those moments? Were you allowed
it
to go
was
out and do what you wanted to do, or were you like stuck in a certain
no.
area? Like
I
stay
was
in the
told what
house.
to do. I was told what I was allowed to do. I was told there was no choice I could make. If my husband felt like that he wanted refried beans, I was cooking refried beans for him. He wanted the bed made. He wanted the floor cleaned. Whatever it was, I was forced. It was the absolute most demeaning and humiliating thing in my life. As far as just you in prison, you're already losing a lot of freedom, and then the little precious freedoms that we do have, they were lost as well. It's just it's no it's literal slavery without question. I don't know if it's of course I've read about the slavery of the African Americans in this country, but it's never that's kind of the closest thing I could pay. I
Yeah,
don't know what they
I don't think there's a version of one version of slavery that's better than another. What
right
you went through is traumatizing, and it almost might be. I'm not gonna. I know nothing about slavery. Obviously, I'm a white privileged male, so I know this much about slavery, but trying to understand it and imagine it, you would think back then when slavery was like a real thing, a lot of these families kind of almost expected they were going to be put into slavery, like because it's been the way that it's always been. You didn't go into prison with the expectation of being tricked out, turned into someone's hoe.
no
That must have been kind of like going from your regular world to
right
hot water to cold water. So
right.
the effects. Did you ever have these thoughts of how long were you in that environment before you went to the feds? Like out of your 9 years, how much of that was where that was happening?
So I did 5 years in the state. At this actual place where this was happening and was going on, I was there about a year. I did attempt suicide at one point.
That
I
was
still
the
have. I
next
don't know if you
question.
could see it, but I have the scars from it. I tried to slit my wrist at some point during this because I was
This was in
literally.
prison.
Yep.
What?
Yeah.
How'd you try to do that?
I filed down a toothbrush, a plastic toothbrush, and made it real fine on the concrete, and I attempted to slice my wrist.
Was there ever
Thankfully,
a thought when you were creating the what we'll call it a shank?
yeah.
When you were creating your shank, was there ever like I'm either going to slit my wrist or I'm going to kill my husband with this? Was there did you ever think about attacking the person? Or
I don't think so. I think while I was in prison, it was such a fear and trepidation. The system was is literally developed to instill this. You go into prison knowing and just feeling that this is not run by the guards. This is run by the inmates. The guards don't run this. This is the prison rules are
inmate?
what yeah mandate this.
So kind
And
of like do whatever you want in here. Don't riot, and
right,
everything else will look the other way.
right,
Wow,
yep.
my goodness, brother. That's I'll tell you what. I was telling you right before we went on the show. Because I watched a lot of this yesterday. I just met Shakie yesterday, guys. I'm a prison consultant. For those of you that don't know, I help people getting ready to go into federal prison with programs and things like that. And Shakie reached out to me, so we're doing some things to try to help him potentially shorten his 70-month sentence. And in the process, he told me about his story, his YouTube channel, which we're going to show you guys. He's got an amazing YouTube channel, guys. He's where I want to be in the YouTube
I
world.
have amazing people that love me on the
That's what it
YouTube channel.
takes.
I'm so not that person, and I literally wish I would have met you my first go round because I would have known 100 just going through some of your videos and just kind of looking at it. It's like, okay, I didn't even know that, and a lot of the information that you just gave me yesterday kind of put me on some stuff to that. Let me do my own research. So I wish I would have known you the first go round, but I'm so glad I got the opportunity to kind of talk with you so far, like and kind of navigate this situation for me.
Yeah, and seeing this story, I was telling him right before we went live. I was going to pour my cup of coffee, which I can't do videos without my coffee. And I said, I feel bad because with my clients, most of my clients have never been in trouble. It's usually either like something like a white collar, blue collar, um, usually non-violent. That's really the big thing. They're going to go to a camp or a low, which is not that big of a deal, but mentally you don't know until you get there and see. You think you're going to go to places like what he just described. That's where people imagine they go. So trying to kind of like chip away and make them feel a little relaxed by the time they get to know me, and by the end, as like the day before they go to prison, we have one final phone call. We go over surrendering, things like that. I'll go, oh, there's one really more important thing. Don't forget. And they're like, oh, what's that? And I'm like, don't drop the soap. And it's always funny and it's comical. But then after seeing this, you don't know what people have been through. you know, and just because my intentions are harmless to say that, I don't think I'll ever say that again to some. It sucks because, dude, I'm an emotional person as it is, and watching what you've gone through and the fact that you're not dead, the fact that you didn't kill yourself and that you didn't shut down and go into a hole, you're here sharing your story. Hopefully people will take from this and realize that, because I'm sure there's somebody, I guarantee you've had people reach out to you. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. People have reached out to you, been like, hey, I didn't go to prison, but I was raped my entire life by a family member of this, and I feel exactly the same. And because you shared your story, now I feel like I have the power to maybe, you know, be my own advocate.
Yes.
Have you experienced that?
A lot of it actually, so much so that we actually, when I was doing a lot of live streaming on another app, we had a mental health, mental health Mondays, and just people getting it off their chest. I didn't know. I mean, and I didn't know what it was for me to be thrust into a situation, to have a platform or anything, and I know what it was for, and I guess God just kind of sends people to me, and we talk. I do interviews. I talk to people all the time about it, and I get so many DMs and so many emails for people to just say the courage, like, and I don't think I'm courageous at all, because while this was going on, I didn't tell anyone. I didn't tell the staff. I didn't, until I was home, and until I was felt safe, until I was just not in the crisp of prison, and after some therapy, I was able to tell my story and fight for someone. And so I don't ever, people think it was I'm doing it for that. But to be honest, it's so much therapy for me. So much therapy for me. It's so self-serving. So I don't understand.
Damn it, Shaky. You keep stealing my thunder. I keep getting ready to say these amazing things, and you beat me to the punch. I
I'm
was just going to
sorry.
say that, you know, the only similarity that I can talk about is people are like, oh, Dan gets on YouTube and talks about going to prison. He thinks he's this prison consulting guy. I started doing this because it was therapeutic to talk about what I had been through. And my situation was, prison for me was the easiest thing in the entire world. The real prison sentence for me was the pretrial part, when you're out on bond, wondering
Yeah.
like what's next, and that can last. How long have you been on pretrial right now, Shaky?
Technically kind of 4 years. I was arrested in 2018 for this. So in a sense, 4 years. The feds decided to start the investigating. I got a target letter in 20, like at the beginning of 2020. And so kind of sort of since then, in a sense. So a couple years maybe, if give or take, kind of.
Now, granted, you kind of know what to expect because you've gone through this, and you're actually going to the same federal prison you were already at. So it's kind of like,
Yeah. I'm going to where I discharged from. Yeah.
so crazy. You're probably still going to see people that are still there that haven't gotten out yet.
Yeah, I've actually talked to a couple of them so far, that so my old cellmate is still there. And so
Wow.
it's like I don't, it's weird because so he's like, oh, I'm so glad you're coming. What? It's I never, like, I was like, get off the phone with me. Yeah, like, I don't want to talk to you anymore, because like, why are you glad I'm coming back? And it's like, so my old cellmate is still there, a few other people I knew,
And
and
where you're going to Oakdale? Is that where you're going?
yeah, FCI Oakdale 1. Yep.
What does that mean? One? What is that? Low camp?
They have, yeah, it's a low security, but it's kind of ran like a medium almost.
Okay.
Because I got there from, I was actually at Pollock medium. Um and then I got my points went down to camp point, and they sent me that, so I couldn't be on the medium compound anymore. And so they sent me to FCI Oakdale 1. And so it is a low security facility in Louisiana.
In Louisiana, right? Here, I'll
Yep.
pull it up so people can see it. So going back to prison, getting ready to go back. When's your surrender date again? Because I know you said that changed, correct?
Yeah, so right now, it is going to be August 23rd is when I go, and kind of like a little less than 2 weeks from now.
All right. So this is where he's going, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
So right, that doesn't look like the end of the world there versus where you were, and we saw
Yeah.
that in the video. I mean, that's, you know, is it prison cells in there? Is it a dorm? What's the sleeping arrangements, bathrooms, toilets? Because very likely I'll have somebody that's either already there or getting ready to go there. So what's it like that? And right now, let's see, they're on a level 3 operation, and I don't know if you that was probably before your time when all this stuff started taking place. But
Yes. So it's 4 big units. One of the units is a complete cell unit. One of the units is a complete open dorm unit, and the other 2 units are one side's open dorm and one side's cells, and one side's open dorm, one side's cells. So it's technically kind of like half and half. Thank you, Dawn,
you
and
have
thank you, Dynasty.
everybody. I can't hit the button fast enough to bring in all your support here.
Thank you.
Oh, before I forget, if anybody wants to, so there's a big cause that you're part of, right? It's called
Right.
Just Detention International.
I am, yes.
Let's bring that up here, guys. So if anybody, and so tell us about what this is.
Is it
and
Just Attention
what it
International? Oh, go ahead. It is an advocacy organization aiming to end prison rape by education. I'm actually part of the. So if someone there goes to prison, somebody starts working at a prison, like a guard or something. There's a videos that they're watching thanks to a PREA grant, and one of the videos is a video that I've done for them. Not the video that you just saw, but another video telling them signs and things to look for and things like that to do. Through this organization, I was able to go. I went with the former sheriff of Orleans Parish into the prison to tour what it was like now. And what happened to me then, it couldn't happen to me now because of some of the changes they had made. So this is definitely definitely an advocacy organization that aims to end prison rape in every form whatsoever. And so I mean through and so it takes resources, it takes money, it takes a lot of things to make that happen, and just to make people aware of it, because we look at it like, okay, don't go in, like just like you tell everybody don't drop the soap. That's a normal thing. You think this is supposed to happen to you in jail. This is not. It's not. I went to jail for check fraud, non-violent, non-drug related. No one was ever physically hurt or in danger for the crime that I did. I was supposed to pay a debt to society. I am supposed to pay a debt to society, but that doesn't include a total malignment of my sexual identity. And so yeah.
Guys, I just dropped the link. Actually, let me drop the donate link instead, make it easier. If anybody wants to donate directly to them. Also, any ad revenue that's generated from this video, if anybody donates on like the super chats or anything like that, any money that's created from doing these videos with Shakie, we're gonna donate it to this cause. Or I don't know if you need money on your books when you go in or not. I don't know what your situation is like that. But if we can whatever you want to talk about on here, if you need help with commissary and type stuff, or if you would like help with it, we can show people how they can do that. And I have a video, actually, if anybody's wants to know how to put money on somebody's like Western Union through the internet, we have a whole video on that, so feel free to send me a link. But guys,
the funny thing is though, Dan, I have a video too. So about that, to try to kind of, so I've made a website called freeshakie.com. And it kind of has videos about how to email, how to core links, how to send money. I have an Amazon book wish list. I have
that's right, you do. Let's
yeah, there it goes. So
there is a link to, I have a link to this on here. Let me drop this link in the description as well. I mean,
but Dan's video is probably a little better than mine. I'm just kind of like,
some people just don't know. When you drop money on the feds, it's like you would think there's going to show the actual location, but you just do Federal or Bureau of Prisons and
right,
the inmate number. So this is your okay, this is cool. So he's got a video up here, guys, that kind of talks about, he loves his green screens. He's behind bars. Couldn't wait
oh my god, yes.
Bars had to make a green screen about it. But he's got, he's got t-shirts, put money on his books. Very cool. So a wish list for books. That's one of the biggest things to do in there, right? Is read, because
yes,
especially now with COVID, there's not a lot of movement going on.
Right.
So what's your your YouTube channel? When did you start this YouTube channel?
When I got out of prison.
The first time.
Yep.
Just kidding. There's only been one other time, right?
Yeah.
So let's pull up your YouTube.
MC Shakie is in the building.
That was scary and loud. So this is Shakie, Mick Shakie.
MC Shakie. It's a period between the M and the C. It's
just fun to say Mick, because you have a video where you're making like smoothies or getting like little flurries or something.
Yeah, but and also there's a video of me cursing someone out because they called me Mick Shakie. I earned that M and that C, and I want my M and my C.
So it's MC Shakie.
Yes. That's,
Sip Nation. What is Sip Nation?
those are my people. That's my
What does
family.
the sip mean?
Okay, so kind of like just sipping tea, like taking a sip.
Okay,
That's what it is.
gotcha. So,
Yeah,
guys, if you haven't already subscribed, you're at 77,000 subscribers, and you started this what year? 2018.
18. Yep.
Very cool, bro. Man, you've blown it up good, and you're doing a really good job with this. And it's sad to see that you're going to prison, because I know you got to be worried a little bit about your channel.
I am.
And guys, anybody that's a follower of his, I'm going to be in touch with him the entire time that he's in. I'm sure many of you probably will too. But if you have any questions for him, or you want to send him some love when you're in, feel free, shoot me a email or whatever, and I'll copy and paste it and send it over through core links, because it gets lonely in there. That's one of the things that no matter where you're at, you miss friends, you miss family, and you do
And
videos almost every day.
yeah.
You'll probably go through withdrawals, but I bet you're going to come up with some crazy video content for when you get home.
Most definitely. As well as Dan is going to be working with me to provide some content for the channel as well. So that is going to be a thing as well. So y'all can see and just kind of know what's going on. Not just with me, but just in the whole.
Gonna have MC RDAP Dan.
Yeah, MCR. Hey, I like that. Welcome to Sip Nation.
Thank you, man. No, this is very cool. So you're getting ready to surrender. You said you lost your humanity when you went through what you went through. Have you gotten your humanity back, or is it a different version of you with different humanity than what you originally had?
I'm a different person than when I went in last time. There's sometimes there's a chip on my shoulder, but I think that the thing that there's the redeeming quality that I learned was just to be transparent. Like nothing bothers me. Like as far as just kind of like what the goings on of social media and the internet, being a social media person. But I think that the chip on my shoulder is there. I'm like I can get really I can go from just nice and subtle and calm to in 2 seconds, and I think that's the difference of before. I usually didn't, um I usually had to build up to that. Now it's like 2 different extremes. I won't say bipolar, but it's really 2 like, I'm really, really nice, or I'm a really, really grizzly bear. And so it's like nothing I don't have, like, a lot of in-betweenness that I used to have, and kinda just to be like a moderate type person. I'm very opinionated too. I'm just like, "This is what it is." Being in prison so long, it was just like a lot of stupidity that I was around. I would literally lay in the bunk and hear someone on this side arguing about what 2 plus 2 equals 5, and this one here arguing about 2 plus 2 equals 3, and I'm sitting there knowing 2 plus 2 equals 4, and I could try to explain that as best as I can, and it would still be the person who just knew it was 5 and the person that knew it was 3. And it was just like I was around a lot of that, so I have a low tolerance for just utter stupidity. So it does affect family, it does affect relationships, and so a lot of therapy has helped a lot, but a lot of times I just had to sit back and say, breathe, breathe. You're not in.
What's your family unit like now? Who do you like? Who's your support system while you're other than Sip Nation, which
Sip Nation, of course,
your second family, but who you got right now?
My mother and father are still living, and I recently kind of moved back with them because of this. I did have a condo. I'm renting it out now. My sister. I have brothers. We're not that close though. But so I do. They're there, but it's kind of testy sometimes with them. But mom's always mom. Dad's always dad. And that's kind of like what it is.
So when you got sentenced or indicted, now the first case, right, the one where you went for the 9 years, were you on the run for a little bit?
Yeah,
as you said, when we got him, it was crazy reading some of the is this the one? No, this is the new one. I don't have the old one pulled up, but so you were on the run for how long before they caught you? Before they got MC Shakie, where'd they get you at?
I was at a club. I was at a nightclub where I was MC Shakie at. So as long as I wasn't MC Shakie anywhere, I was everywhere. So, but the place where I got caught was a club called Candy's in Baton Rouge. The funny part is, I'm actually the woman who owns the club. I'm actually going to meet her for lunch after this. So it's just like weird. But the club owner was my friend, And she was like, come through real quick. You don't have to come. I'm like, girl, I'm on the run. And she's like, come through real quick. And my sister was like, don't go. Don't go. People looking for you. And I've been on the run for like a year. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to have a little fun. I'm going to get a drink. I know the owner, so I ain't got to pay for nothing. And I literally went and someone called, got the Crime Stopper tip and was like, called the Crime Stopper, got the couple bucks.
Was there a reward for you?
Yeah, there was a reward.
And you got 5K won from the streets.
Yes. It was a war. I was on the news and the
How
all
many
these.
people? Was it the marshals who came in? Because this was that state at this point still, right?
No, but the feds were looking at it as well. So I did have the state charges, but the feds were looking at it for a indictment as well. So the Secret Service, the marshals, the East Baton Rouge Parish Sheriff's Office, the City of Baton Rouge Police Department. It was like a lot of different agencies that were there.
Wow.
Mhm.
Did it suck? What did it feel like? It was like, oh man. Did you think they were going to get you at some point? Were you looking over your shoulder? Were you riddled with anxiety? What was the relief when they got you?
To be honest with you, at those days, I was really weird mentally, and I didn't think they'd get me. I thought I'd be on the run for the rest of my life.
Really?
But when I got caught,
you were cocky, huh? You were just like, they're not going to get me. How old were
yeah,
you?
I was 26, 25, 26, something like that.
26
so-
in the club. Were you drunk at this point?
Yes, I was definitely drunk. And so I was like, I just felt like I am invincible. I could change my identity. I could change my identity. I had an ID printer, so I could change my identity tomorrow. I'm doing credit card fraud and all that stuff like that. So I could switch it up. I had I could just be anywhere. I mean, I'm traveling the country. I'm never staying still. I just couldn't. I went back to a place that I was somebody I was in a prior life, and that was
You
that.
got complacent and slipped up.
Yeah,
What you needed
definitely.
to. I mean, it is
I
not
needed that.
right.
I didn't need it to just kind of get it behind me so I could be who I was and kind of, just be able to let the world experience who I am and just kind of be myself again and just kind of get back to me.
So you went through all of that. You went to state. You went through the horrendous things that nobody wants to ever imagine. And again, thank you for sharing that with everybody.
Sure.
Now you get out. You got out. What year did you get released from the
I
feds?
got released December 17th, 2017.
So 2017, and then did you have to go to the halfway house at all?
Yeah.
How long were you in the halfway house for?
6 months.
6 months. Any home confinement?
Yeah, it was a couple weeks of that. A few weeks of that. 6 months was home confinement.
And then you went on federal pretrial, like probation, basically.
Right.
How much probation did they give you?
At the time, it was 5 years. It got terminated early at 3.
Oh, I thought you said when you caught this charge, you violated.
No.
Oh.
I finished. So they didn't indict me until January of this year. So it didn't interfere. Okay, makes sense. Okay, gotcha.
Maybe I spoke to another client who got
charged
while they were on it. So you got charged with this crime, which that's here. Let me see. Is this? That's this one, right?
Yeah.
That's this.
Yeah.
The bigger
That's it.
screen's hard to see. 213,000 is, and I know whatever really the feds kind of inflate things, but 230. So are you gonna have restitution of $213,000?
Yep.
And you got indicted January. When did you sign your plea deal?
March.
So March of this year, you signed your plea deal, and you got sentenced when?
July.
So you got sentenced last month. You got sentenced.
Yep.
What were your guideline range, and how many months were you expecting to get?
The guideline range was 46 to 57 months.
Oh wow, the judge he
went up on. Mm-hmm.
What were his reasons?
He said that I was that because of my prior record, that he didn't feel that I learned anything, and he wanted to make sure I understood that this was serious. This is not something that I should be doing. Even though I had not gotten in trouble since this was after this, I don't even have a parking ticket since then. Like the prison didn't change me. It made me worse, to be honest with you. When I got out, I blamed everybody. It's everybody's fault. I didn't, what had happened to me in prison, even though it was not in the federal system, it's in my mind. It's one term of imprisonment for me. It's one big, yeah. So I was blaming people for that, and I'm blaming everybody, and I just felt like I wanted to stick it to them, and I needed money, and so I did this. But then I went through therapy.
When did you do this crime that you for your instant offense of what you're going to prison for? When
in,
was this
tw-
crime committed?
at the beginning of 2018 when I first
And
got out.
when did you like I'm done? I wish I hadn't done it. When did you right in 2018 you stopped?
Yep, I started going to therapy. Actually, I did this thing, just kind of realizing what had happened to me, and going through this was kind of like me saying, you know what, this is over for me. This is not the life I want to lead.
Are you are you taking not that are you taking accountability now? Because you before you were like I was blaming this, blaming everybody. I mean, there's no excuse to get raped, so there's that's
Right,
it's not your fault.
right.
But everything else, committing the crimes and things. Where's your mindset now? Where how is it going to be different going forward? Are you going to be able to maintain a mindset of you're not the victim? I mean, victim of rape, yes, but the victim
Right.
of you're not a victim of circumstance that you need to go out and do fraud to make a living. Is that going to be different going forward?
Yeah, I think that the people that know me have known for some time about this, about the things that I've done, because I was very accountable about it. Part of my channel talks about prison stories, but it also talks about my story times, what I was talking about when I was doing fraud, and talking about this, and just telling it from A to Z. This is what I did. This is and not blaming anyone and saying it's not anyone's problem. It's not anyone. No one owes me anything.
How
And
freeing
so
how freeing was that when you said it out loud? When you started saying it on your YouTube channel, making yourself vulnerable to the
to be honest with you, it was so liberating to where I personally know myself, and I know that this is I'm touching 40 this year. I'm uh it's oh yeah, it's I mean I might think I'm young and I might think I'm young and cute, but the reality of life is setting in that I have to make something of myself for real. There are people because of just my candidness that love me, look up to me. And I'm responsible to them for that. That's a responsibility that I now take very seriously. And so it was very liberating. So I kind of, for me, I have to prove it, of course, but I know it's over. I mean, I can say anything right now. I've been sentenced. I have my time. It doesn't matter
right.
at this point. But, um, I just know it's over. I know it's over.
That's good. And do you feel like because I feel it too when I like part of my YouTube channel, I'm blessed that it turned into a living for me. It was never intended, but aside from that, like you said, the therapeutic version of it really does kind of hold me to a level of accountability. Because look, old thought patterns and things, the things I used to do. I'm not going to lie and say there's never days where I'm like, oh, I could go do this, I could do that. But then I'm like, you know what? Not only would it suck if I got caught, but I've worked so hard to build this reputation of creating the new version of who I want to be and
Mhm.
not be the person based on my past. That if I look, it takes a life to build. It takes a lifetime to build an empire, and it takes one bad fucking decision to like crush the whole thing.
Right.
So, is it important to you to because people do look up to you. You know, I saw somebody in here posted they were like, you're a pillar in our community. You help you found I think they said there was girls that had drowned, and because of you, you kind of brought clarity to that. Do you feel that you carry a little bit of responsibility to the people that look up to you, that you owe it to them
Definitely.
to not you want to do it for yourself too, but isn't it
All right.
great to have that little bit of extra reason?
Yeah. I mean, it's for self, it's for family, but I think the greatest part of me is what I can contribute to the world. I think that when it comes to like nation and everything, it's built on love, and it's built on what I can do for like I have to be selfless at this point because I've been so selfish up until this point. And so this is my time. Like my job now is to be as selfless as possible. And that starts, it's an everyday battle.
I
So
love
it's
that.
exactly, yeah.
Dude, it's I made a fucking mistake recently and I interviewed this guy Hunter Moore.
I heard about that.
And part of it was he hired me way back when, and a lot of his documents were sealed, so I was taking a lot of it based on what I was hearing and stuff. And then this new Netflix documentary came out about him, the most hated man on the internet, and I still hadn't read all of the documents because some of them were still sealed. And I did these interviews with him thinking, look, the website sucked, you made a mistake. But doing the interviews, it was just like it was almost even cringe for me to sit there being the interviewer because I'm like, dude, there's no accountability for what he did. And then when I did get access to the documents, and I did see that he was aware of these hackings, and look, people come, even if he did do it, but even if he had admitted that he did it, I would have done the interviews with him if he was showing, I am sorry for this, because like you took a horrible experience. You got raped, you got sexually assaulted, and you're using that now as a platform to maybe stop somebody else from going through what you went through.
Right.
And I feel like somebody like Hunter Moore could use the trolling and the bullying he was doing and destroying people's lives, even though he did all of these things that people would say, wow, that's horrible. He could use that as a platform to put a stop to that, or at least slow it down from happening to somebody else. And because he's not choosing to do that, I felt like a jerk for putting those videos out, and that's why I'm donating the money that those videos make. Because I, just like you, I'm trying to do the same thing. I want to undo. I can't undo the mistakes that I did, but I can try to give more back to the world than what I took, to kind of even out the playing field a little bit. And I think that's what you're doing, and you're doing it really, really good.
Thank you.
There's people out there right now that go, he's going to prison for 70 months, and look how calm he is. I mean,
Yeah. You can't beat yourself up because of the Hunter Moore stuff. First of all, you're not a superhero. You're not a Superman. Like you can't fly and stuff like that. That's number one.
I'm a superhero every day. I don't know what you're talking about.
I'm so sorry, but yes,
don't listen to him, Kate. I'm a superhero.
I need you to be a superhero for me. I'm so sorry. You have to be my Superman. But like, what can, like, people are people, and people do stuff that you have no control over, number one. And number two, your intentions were to not only do your job, but to make a difference in this situation. So I don't think you did anything.
Truth be told, my intentions were also, this is a big Netflix series that's hitting, and I was like, this is going to be great for my channel.
Yeah.
And I put that in front of, let me go make sure everything that this guy's telling me is fact checked before I post this out. Because sure, I got more views than I've gotten in a long time, but if you look at the comments, usually I have a 90-10 ratio where it's 90% positive, 10%, oh, Dan, you're a dick. These were 99%. Dan, why would you give the world's biggest sociopath a platform to explain himself when there's no way to explain it? And I was like, oh, well, what do you know? But, and they're right. I had to come back on and do video 3 and kind of try to undo all of that. And I'm still getting blown up messages from him, and he's threatening my kids. I mean, it's, I put myself in that situation technically.
Oh, wow.
And it sucks, but I got to own that, because I can't be this person that says, oh, all you got to do is admit when you fuck up, take responsibility, be accountable, don't play the victim. And it's hard to do that, or it's hard to say that if when the first time you hit something hard, you go, well, he lied to me. It's on me in the end of the day.
Right.
But interviewing you came at a perfect time, because you're somebody that you very easily could have brushed this under the rug and kept it hush hush to a point, right? But you're out here talking about you're going to prison again, and sure, it's good for your channel.
Yeah,
I'm sure everybody likes your prison stories, but you're taking responsibility. You went out and did this fraud shit again. The fraud, for me, fraud has always been like this something that was always, there's always a level of interest to it, like, because it's cloak and dagger. It's like you're doing you're pretending to be somebody else, you're getting this stuff, and seeing you and your cautionary tale. There's somebody out there right now going, shit, I was going to go do this, but now look at what he's going to prison for 70 months for doing this. People don't realize how serious consequences are when the feds get a hold of you.
Yes, very serious.
So what's your biggest concern with going to prison today? Not today, but today.
Yeah. So I guess, so I'm, believe it or not, I was ready to rock this week. I was ready to get in and get started. Your time doesn't start ticking until you walk in the door. And so I was ready to get it in. So I guess my biggest concern to me is just to mitigate the outlying things that I don't understand. Like when I was there last time, of course, I didn't care about like RDAP. I didn't care about programming. I didn't care. My time, like, well, just, like I ain't no druggie.
You had another bit in you.
Yeah, I was like, I don't care about none of this. And so I didn't take advantage of anything that was there for real. I worked on the yard. I was running around with the boys. I was just doing me. And so I didn't care about anything. I was more concerned with my gambling ticket than I was with anything going on in the world. So I didn't care about anything.
Tickets, memories. So do you guys use what did you guys use as currency?
Stamps. Stamps and macro, actually.
Compound macro. That's what I got my haircut with.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Have you talked about that in your prison stories?
Yeah, I did. I
compound
talked about
stamps.
that in detail. Yeah.
So
How stamps
tell the people the difference between a compound stamp and a stamp that's on an envelope.
certainly a compound stamp is stamps that have been circulated through the compound. You can't put them on the envelope or anything.
What
They're
were they
just
worth there? Was it 25 cents?
Okay, so when I was there, stamps were high as that. I mean, a flat book was $10, but so I think a compound stamp was like 8 or 7. If I'm
Okay.
not, the book is like a 20 was like $8 or $7, if I'm not mistaken.
And that's what people would use for gambling. They'd use
Yeah.
this currency to go, buy from the store, man.
Yeah, or do whatever.
Man,
It was money.
did you have a barber?
Yeah, I did have a barber. He was actually my homeboy. So
Oh, so you got hooked up.
yeah, I was just like hooked up. I was in Oakdale, and it's very much so New Orleans, Louisiana type. It's a lot of that there. And when I was even at Pollock, it was kind of like the same thing. So the homeboys was like, looked up. They were so happy to have a girl or a hoe. It was just like I was treated like a queen in the feds.
And
so
the
it was
feds,
like,
right? Because it's
yeah,
there. It's everything's consensual.
yeah.
I trust me. There's many nights where I'd get up to go to the bathroom. I was at Coleman Low. I was at the Low security, and
Do you know Dominique? Do you know? Oh, you know any homosexuals there? When were you there?
I was in. I got there the end of 14, and I left. I got 42 months, but because of RDAP, I left the very end of 15. So I was there 13 months out of my 42. I don't really remember any because I was in the RDAP unit, and RDAP, it's like.
Okay.
I always used to scream the word high risk because Dr. Smith, who was the RDAP coordinator, beautiful. I'm gonna guess she was half white, half black. She was definitely more African American looking than white, but you could tell maybe her parents were a little bit of both. Beautiful specimen, just fucking beautiful. She reminds me of somebody that would be like in the movie Avatar, like just like man, gorgeous. Not like wow, she's so sexy. It was just like perfectly put together. Yeah, just what like little bits and her pieces that were made her were just perfect. So whenever she'd walk by, because when you're not in RDAP, when you're not during treatment hours, you're out hanging with whoever. And people would walk, she would walk by, and on Friday she would wear jeans. I don't know what she's thinking, wearing tight jeans in a federal prison full of men. But whenever she'd walk by, people were like, oh damn, look at Dr. Smith's ass. And I was just afraid that people would hear them say that, see me sitting there, and then RDAP, how scrutinized you are in RDAP, and you're scared of fucking your own shadow. I would just high risk, and I'd run away. So I got to a point where I didn't even hang out with anybody in the compound that wasn't in RDAP because people like to see people fail. People like to see, and there's plenty of people that didn't get into RDAP, got kicked out of RDAP, and secretly they wanted everybody else to get kicked out too. So I didn't ever want to be in a situation to where, because man, it was so important for me to get through that and get out of there as fast as possible. And but yeah, compound stamps in there and the mackerel in there. And now when I got into RDAP, I stopped fucking with all that stuff because dude, guys were getting kicked out of RDAP for taking hard-boiled eggs out of the chow hall and getting caught.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it was pretty serious there. Some prisons aren't that legit with RDAP, but Coleman was sketch. What are you looking for? Like what parts of going back, because you can't undo not going, and I know you don't want to go, but what are you looking forward to at
nothing Dan, nothing at all.
Can you tell me you don't miss any of some of the late night conversations?
No, so no, I don't miss them. Actually, I made lifelong friends. One of them actually was at Coleman Low before she came to Oakdale, and she was the shot caller for the gay car. Her name was Dominique.
White girl, black girl,
black girl.
We had a girl there. Well, I say girl,
girl.
Some people might get really confused right now. Like, wait a minute, what? We had a Miss Lampley who was transgender.
Okay.
Not fully transed over. It's
okay.
Still had a penis, I believe. But I'll tell you, I was walking the track, and about a month before this, in RDAP one day, Dr. Smith comes in and brings everybody in. We had this like organized meeting with like 150 RDAPers in basically like in a big auditorium. And she's like, can anybody tell me what a transgender is? And I don't think any of us knew. I think we all thought we knew. We
Right.
all thought it was like sex changes and things like this. We didn't really know about the whole what pick your identity type thing. We didn't understand that. So when they explained it, we were all very confused, and most of us were like, and they were like, you have to refer to as her. Now, if you don't feel comfortable doing that, because some inmates, you're not going to get some of these guys. Some of these guys
Right.
did time at the fucking pen. And they're like, there ain't no fucking way in hell that I'm going to refer to somebody as her. So
Right.
the way they compromised, they were like, you can say Lampley, but you cannot say Mr. Lampley. That was, you were going to be
Right.
basically booted. So time comes, she comes to the compound. Nobody knew. And I didn't even know she was going to go in RDAP. I'm walking the track one day. We had a half-mile track. I had my headphones in. And I hear this beautiful voice singing. And I'm like, it sounds like a female. I'm looking. So I take my headphones off. I turn around, and there's this female in a white wife beater. If I would have been out on the street, there would have been no question in my mind that this is a female. Aside wearing flat shoes, was like 6 foot whatever. But she had the run of the compound because it was right in the beginning of the whole identity and how important it is to respect somebody. And the prison was
Right.
fucking afraid of getting any type of lawsuit. So anything she wanted to do,
Right.
she full commissary, like she never had to pay for commissary. Guys were
Right.
lined up waiting for a turn with Miss Lampley. And it was just, and I got along with her just fine.
Right.
She was a great person, and
Yeah.
it was never like people are like, did she? I'm like, no, dude, she wasn't trying to make me have sex with her.
This is what I find.
She's got plenty of willing participants for that.
Plenty of options.
But there was another person there named Lois. I don't and Lois was this little tiny black guy that identified as a woman, small, probably like 5'5".
Okay.
And this guy, we had a lot of, so Coleman is in basically middle Florida, so you got like Alabama,
Right.
you got a lot of like very close-minded individuals, to say the least. Most of them are
Gotcha.
white people, and
Right.
they got into this argument, and he straight up called her the F word, which is a very
Ooh.
derogatory word. And
Yeah.
she said nothing. She waited for him to lay down. He was giant white dude. Waited for him to lay down, went into the laundry room, came back with an iron. And when I heard, I didn't see her walking back, but I heard the hit because it was 2 bunks over from me on the bottom bunk. And it sounded like somebody took a machete and hit like a chunk of beef. It was just like this wet whacking sound. And I was like, what the fuck? So I sat up, and you just saw blood pooling out from the cubicle.
Oh wow.
And then you hear a couple more whack, whack, whack. Who's the F now? And Lois walks out, drops the iron, waits. Guards come and get her. She goes to the shoe. White guy. He wasn't dead or anything, but he got face. Definitely, he'll probably never look the same. They ship him off. He's gone. 30 days later, they bring her back. I was like, wow, I can't believe they brought her back
For real.
to the same prison. Because usually when shit like that goes down,
Yeah.
just for retaliation purposes, you're shipped off somewhere different.
Right.
But I gotta say, people can say what they want to say about somebody that has a preference, and to say that they're doing it for whatever. Maybe you can say that in the free world, some people are practicing or whatever, but in prison,
No.
you're not pretending to do these things because you're going to get hated on and you're going to be a target of attacks. So I don't believe anybody would openly just want that to themselves. They're probably wishing that they didn't feel that way so they could walk around without a target on their back. So I felt like, wow, you know what? That's I guess that's what you got to do in a situation like that, or else you just become the victim of other people attacking you for that.
Right. Definitely.
So you look forward to nothing about Oakdale?
I guess
Much, man. You gotta
we used
find
to
something you're gonna love there.
we used to do talent shows. I hosted the talent shows there. I was working on the yard. That was like kind of the biggest thing every season we have. Thank you so much, Faith. But yeah, I guess I look forward to the talent shows if we can. If I don't know if COVID's letting people do it, but if we're doing that again, I'd love to do that. That's what I have so much fun doing that.
Talent shows, like putting on like plays, acting and stuff.
No, it was like people would rap, dance, sing, things like that. We had people. The warden loved it. He actually allowed us. So if the guards were on, he allowed it to happen. We could pass out the stuff. They had even somebody from the BOP, like I don't know what, somewhere else, like the region or something. They came, excuse me, came one time. The unit team people were the judges. It was so much fun. I was the host. I was comedic, funny. And then my last year there, I actually got a cart. I literally took some sheets and made a costume of just like a mermaid goddess and had people push me out with people with flowers and stuff there because I was about to leave right as our last talent show. They were putting flowers and the the compound went up. The warden was just like, Shaky, it's crazy. Like, this
Isn't
is
that
not.
wild?
Yeah, that's
For like,
that
you're doing what in prison? How many amazingly talented artistic people did you meet in prison? It blows your mind. Like this shit was
many.
doing some cardboard.
It was a Mexican girl that actually made me a whole dress with a sheet, and it was awesome. It was like, look, it's like she had little. I mean, we had it was so she glued on some glitter, and it was so much. It was just so that's what I'm looking. I guess that's what I'm looking at.
So
Like
you
they
are
were.
so see that's what I'm my
Yeah,
point is here is
yeah,
you turned a point in your life where you're trying to find like the positive things out of life. Prison's a negative
yeah,
word. It's a negative place. Real easy to find all the shit we hate about prison, but you're going to be there for 70 months. And I know damn well not every day you're going to be going, I hate this. I hate. There's going to be days where you're laughing your ass off. You're having some of the
yeah,
best conversations. You're probably going to talk. You're probably going to meet people like I used to watch you on YouTube, and
yeah.
you're going to find positive experiences from this. And that's where I'm trying to kind of get you to go with this. Is there's some positive, there's some really positive things that. When's the last time you did a talent show with paper and have you done it since prison?
No,
There
no,
you go. And you probably
no,
won't do it again when you leave.
no,
So,
probably not.
you're going to make the best out of this.
Right.
My girlfriend, did I tell you she went with me like to prison? We both got indicted together and we both went in
Oh
together.
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, she went to the camp. I went to the low, and I saw her on my 30th day there because the women for the campers are the ones that kind of like took care of all the grounds of Coleman because Coleman's got 2 penitentiaries, a medium,
Mhm.
a low, and a camp. And the camp now is for men, but it was for women then. And when she was getting out to leave, all the girls did like a big all that were on like lawn maintenance crew. They for like weeks they were saving leaves and they were putting it in these bags. And then the entrance to where you go out of Coleman, the girls they all got on the sides with all the leaves with blowers and they blew this like arch of leaves that her car
Oh,
drove through. And
oh,
it's and I get teared up hearing about it because every time she tells a story how she's never had friends that like she had in prison.
yeah,
And it's so weird because she's never been in trouble, she's never had a speeding ticket,
yeah,
and for her to go from that into prison and to be able to come out, it's not like prison ruined her at all.
mhm,
I think it's great for people to hear some of these stories that prison doesn't have to define you. And look at you went through the shit of
yeah,
like the shitty part of prison,
yeah,
and you chose not to let it define you. You chose to
yeah,
make positive choices and tuck the anger back just far enough to somehow
right,
refocus that energy and get rid of it. But now you're
mhm,
bursting it out. You basically ate a bunch of shit and you pooped out some rainbows. Um,
yeah, try.
and I think that's look at the room. There's 50. There was like almost 70 people in here a few minutes ago. These are all here for you, brother. These are all here
Oh,
for
thank
you.
you so much. I love them so much. They
I wore
they make me.
I wore a prison costume to prison. I don't know if you know that story. I don't know if I ever got a chance.
No, I've got it. I've looked at a few of your hunter videos and stuff. I got to get into your channel a little bit more to see. But you wore a
Yeah. So when
prison
I'll pull it up here.
costume.
And I self surrendered, my friends thought it would be. They're like, you got to make a mockery of the system. Don't let it take. Don't let it be too serious. So my buddy, I'll find your picture here and I'll pull it up. My buddy said, I got an idea. Let's go to the Halloween store because I was surrendering in like the end of September. So Halloween was right around the corner. And he said, let's go to the Halloween store and buy a black and white prison costume.
Oh
And when
wow.
you self surrender, you're going to wear this. So I have a picture of me the day I turned myself in, and it didn't go over well. The guards didn't see the humor that I thought they were going to see. I guess
I can imagine.
I was taking prison as a little
Joke.
bit as a joke, and I mean
Yeah.
it wasn't a joke. I think it was my way of coping because I was terrified. I'm
Right.
gonna lie.
I don't think people understand that. I laugh to keep from crying a lot.
That's
So when
exactly what it was. It's like, trust me,
yeah,
when I'm crying, it's not. When I'm laughing, it's not because I got it all together. But if I don't laugh, I'm gonna sit here and either become extremely violent or I'm gonna start. So I think you'd all much rather see the laughing version of Dan.
yeah.
Here it's coming up. Oh, there it is. All right. I'm sorry. I'm taking all your fame. It's supposed to be about Shakie, but
I don't mind. I'm good. Oh my God.
that's
Not the little hat.
Coleman. That's Coleman Low right there in the background over there. I had a little so I had a pill bottle on. Because my case was a pill case, but I got chicken and took that off. I made a necklace of pill bottles to not take it. I'm like, they're not going to beat me down. But I grew the beard out. I've never had a beard in my entire life, and I grew the beard out because I figured and again, my fear was exactly what happened to you with the rape and the attacks. I thought that was the kind of stuff that just went on in prison. And I'm
Right.
like, dude, I'm a 5'9", 190 whatever 200-pound white guy. I don't care if I had all the ninja skills in the world. If
Right.
people attack me, but if I look dirty and dingy and stinky, maybe they'll want to leave me alone. That was kind of my thought process. But yeah, I shaved the beard off shortly after getting in there.
It's
But
the
yeah,
little hat. It's the little hat for me, Dan. It's like the little hat. It's just
the little hat
it
does it. I
sets
still
it
have
off.
that. Oh, well, not that one because they took that one away. But I went and bought another one just because I've done anniversary videos. But get back to my mouse over here. In the end, though, I'll tell you, as much as they were pissed when I wore it in there, they ripped it off me. They put me in. They thought I was. I did Molly the day before, which I'd never done in my life. And if anybody's ever done Molly, it's great in the moment, but the next day it's like the downside of that. All your serotonin's gone. You hate yourself. So I'm walking in here, just like a 4-hour drive. Guards rip it off me. They think I'm high. They think that maybe I'm crazy. So they keep an eye on me for a few days. But ultimately, a couple weeks later, the guards they're like, "Why did you wear that costume?" And I would tell them the story. They're like, "We're not supposed to laugh at it, but it was the funniest thing we've ever seen." And with the inmates, it gave me almost instant street cred because once it got around that I was the guy that wore the prison costume, and they're like, "Yo, this dude, he doesn't give an F," and I did. I gave a big F, but I also I'm an attention seeker. I'm not gonna lie. It's probably why I have a YouTube channel, and I figured I need to find a way to get the spotlight on me, and because I felt like I was getting ready to go back to high school, which I hated. In high school, I was timid. I was quiet. I didn't talk to anybody. In prison, I felt like, oh, this is like my high school experience. And people like me, and I'm in the in crowd.
Wow.
But yeah, people why did I go to prison? I worked for a doctor's office that was overprescribing pain medication, and I contributed to the opioid pandemic by allowing pills to get out on the street and destroy families. Probably kids overdosed, all kinds of horrible things. I was a part of that, and not a day goes by that I don't regret it. But maybe one day we'll do an interview on your channel.
Oh, we're going to do an interview on my channel. Like before I go in, not maybe one day. We're going to schedule that. That'll be the next thing we schedule. Like
Awesome.
because I'm interested now. I want to know about the prison. You should lead off with that. How you went to prison. That is your.
The problem is I get so giddy when I talk about it. And I feel like I'm bragging about it. I had a video, but I lost the video.
It's a thing to brag about.
Yeah,
I wanted to do something. I was thinking about going to prison in full drag, but I don't know if that's gonna fly too much. I was gonna.
They'll obviously make you take it off, but it'll make some good pictures going in.
Definitely, I might do
it. You got somebody taking the pictures. The feds have these weird machines. So when I took Shelly, Shelly also self-surrendered, but she self-surrendered August 11th. Oh, what shit is that tomorrow?
That is tomorrow. That would have
Shelly's anniversary for surrendering to prison.
Oh.
And when she went in, I went with her to drop her off and stuff and got to see where I was going to be going. And we were taking pictures out in front by the sign. So when we got to the gate, the guy was like, "Was that you guys out there taking pictures?" He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Was it on that phone?" And I'm like, "This motherfucker's about to take my phone." So before I could put the phone in my pocket, it looked like a radar gun or something, like a laser gun the cops use to check your speed.
Yeah.
He pointed at my phone and went, Zzz. I was like, "What the fuck?" Yo, every picture that we took at Coleman was gone off just those pictures. Where those pictures were, it was a picture of just like a crack with like a line, like when you get a damaged photo or damaged file, it destroyed those photos. So I didn't even know that things like that existed.
What the? I never heard of that.
Oh, I think it's because, imagine the footage you could get in a prison if you were to get in a phone. How much? I mean, now we're seeing it all the time but before recent, it's like, you telling me nobody's got a camera in that? How are they I don't know. I thought it was weird. I've never been able to figure out what it was, but yeah, they zapped my phone with some weird gun in it, and I don't know if it works off of GPS, but boom, those photos were gone. There was like 20 of them on there, and Shelly was wasted. We went and found a little bar right next to the federal prison before she went in, and she got hammered on vodka and sodas. And when she walked in, it was like one eye open, and they were so nice to her going in. The camps are so different than like the high securities.
Right.
Like, take your time, give your hugs. And I was like, oh, this place is nice.
When you get there, it was a different.
But prison for me was an overwhelmingly positive experience, something I needed in my life for sure. And I think no, I don't think you need it this time. I think unfortunately your lesson didn't get completely learned while you were in.
It didn't.
You made that fatal mistake when you got out, and
it didn't. I need this. I need this to kind of I need this to have a true testimony of redemption. A lot of the things I do it's not really even about me. And for me, I needed a testimony of redemption, because I know. I mean, my ambition is, I've been on national TV a few times since being home.
Come on, dude, you're famous. You made the RDAP band show. I mean, does it get any bigger than that?
Like, for real, like, I'm here talking to you. Like, I have to be somebody to sit here with RDAP Dan, the world famous, internationally known, the great
subscribers. All right,
the greatest. Y'all make sure y'all subscribe to RDAP Dan. And also, if I don't know if you're watching this after the fact, or if you are facing any type of federal confinement or anything, like, get with him early. He's gonna give you insight that your lawyer just will not be able to give you. It's just not even a question about it. Like, you do need your attorney, of course, but you also need your consultant to just actually navigate the truth and what's actually going on. Your lawyer has to tell you the best case scenario, but your lawyer's never been in prison. Your lawyer doesn't deal with the BOP. They don't. They deal with the courts, and that's what they do.
I think it's because people think prison consultant is going to tell you how to protect yourself in prison, and that, I mean, now what you know, but nothing. I mean, obviously I talk a little bit about your first day and stuff, but for somebody going to where you're going is the worst thing about your day is what you're going to eat for dinner. And as long as you don't act a fool, you really have no issues. People aren't messing like that. It's really letters to the judge, what you say to your kids, programs you can qualify for, which is why you and I started talking yesterday, trying to help you get into RDAP. I hope you get into RDAP, because I don't think you even would have made it through RDAP when you got into it back in the day. I think now your mindset is where it needs to be, and RDAP will you'll love it. You'll love RDAP because it will increase the direction you're already going in.
Right.
So yeah, man, what do you want to leave people with? Was there anything we need to show them here? Do you guys, Shakie's information is in the description of this video. Actually, right in the description, it's got where he's going. If you want to put money on his books, if you want to donate to any of his causes, that's the best thing I think somebody could do is even look, people are like, oh man, if I had money, let me tell you something, donate $1, because people donate $1 here or there. And what we do is donations that we receive, because we receive donations every month. We have a couple of, I call them angel investors. Some of them send between $5,000 and $10,000. They're like, we trust you just to use this for good. And we create videos and content and send it back to them, what we do with it. But we try to use it for guys, because not everybody going into prison has a support system, a financial support system.
Right.
And sure, the BOP is going to feed you, but you ever been in a unit after chow time? Everybody's cooking, the unit smells amazing, and you see that guy that has nothing.
Yeah.
And there's no worse feeling than
to be the one that has nothing. No, I've been that person.
Yeah.
I've been that person to have nothing my first time around. And so I definitely know what that is.
Extra depressing, right?
Yeah, it could be the thing. And I tell people all the time, you just have no idea what something simple, not just money, but just a simple card or a simple phone call.
Hearing your name at mail call is like winning the fucking lottery.
Yes, you are somebody if somebody writes you a letter.
Yep.
Like you have to, and the most depressing, if you go that stretch and not get in, oh my God, it's so depressing. And so I mean I talk about that all the time. Like this is like you can save someone's life. You have no idea by
Yeah.
just sending a letter. Hey, what you doing? What's going on? How you doing? Or
Turns your whole day right around.
turn around. I got a letter. Like somebody loves me. Somebody's out there. Yeah. I mean the holidays are real hard there. Because it's just nothing's moving, and you're kind of and just to not have somebody to call or just say happy Merry Christmas or
That,
Happy
that
Birthday.
BOP Christmas basket is pretty serious.
Yeah, that is. It definitely is.
That is a hot commodity in there. People sell those things for big money.
Right.
BOP.
Definitely.
Are you gonna?
So
Do you have any plans for are you gonna? Is physical fitness something you want to work on in
yeah,
there?
yeah. I left when I came home. I was kind of skinny and fine. I don't know. Like I came home and like my sister picks me up and she's like, "Where you want to go?" I'm like, "Popeyes, bitch. I want to go to Popeyes." And so it's been Popeyes since. It's been Popeyes and McDonald's and everything. But right now, I'm eating everything that I could get my hands on when it comes to. You're right. She's definitely right. When it comes to like food and stuff, because baby, I want to remember those flavors. So I've gained. I literally put on maybe 20 pounds in the last 30 days.
What's your? I know we're gonna wrap up here in a second, but you know what? We're probably gonna do another video on my channel too, because I want to talk about some of the. I hate glorifying prison, but when you're there, you have to make the best of it, right? So,
Right.
what is one meal you're looking? Not BOP meal, but what is one meal you're looking forward to getting together with a group and making in prison?
The Molies. What else?
There we go.
What
Break it down. Let us tell
else?
people.
A Moli is every piece of sugar. It's sugar diabetes in a garbage bag, basically. So what they do is they take cookies and bread and remake dough, and they take the inside of the cookies, Snicker bars, Twix bars, Kit Kats, chocolates, everything, and they break it down and mix it up and make it layered, and then put more candy and more sugar, more honey buns, more things, and then wrap it all up, heat it up in the water cooler with an electric, with the thing that they put in with a burn. What do you call it? Y'all call it burners?
We call it
Stingers. Y'all call it stingers. We call it burners, but I've heard of stingers before. Make it with a stinger, boil it to a pulp where it's nice and hot, and just it's it's literally.
Oh my god, that sounds horrible. But let me tell you guys,
God, no,
dude, the things that these motherfuckers can make in prison.
Yeah.
And I caught myself so many times going, it's fucking brilliant. How come you're not applying that when you get into the free world?
Why?
Just the burritos they make in there, the pizzas, the cheesecakes.
Yeah.
Cheesecakes,
The cheesecakes.
prison fried rice. I don't know if you guys were making prison fried rice.
Yeah.
To this day, when we have rice at the house, me and Shelly, we still do prison fried rice to this day, because it's not just because it's nostalgic. It tastes better than any Chinese restaurant's prison fried rice that I can get.
Yeah.
A little bit of ramen noodles, your rice, some Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola goes into the, oh man, it's making my mouth water.
Awesome.
So do they have video visits where video visits where you're at?
They didn't have it when I left, and I think because of COVID there.
If they got video visits, we're gonna create some content.
Okay.
Through video visits, and
cool.
And I'll gladly post it to your channel for you.
Gotcha.
I'm not glad that you're going to prison, but I'm glad that you're going in with the attitude that you're going in.
Right.
And you're gonna, let's say you go into prison with 80,000 subscribers. I bet you come home with close to 500,000 subscribers.
Wow.
That's what I think. I think if you're able to stay current while you're in there and keep sharing your stories, the things that you're doing, positive things you're doing for fun, because you're going to a place that most people that are watching this channel, if they were ever to get in trouble, it's going to be something comparable to a place that they would go.
Right.
And it's going to give them a very good grounded eye view of I don't want to go to prison, but if you've committed a crime right now and you're out there and you're in some kind of a pre-trial phase, there might be a thought of you that's thinking, I can't go to prison. I can't do it. I'd rather kill myself. I'd rather go on the run. You're going to get to hear a little bit more of what the day-to-day operation of prison is from somebody that's going.
1/3 of the emails I get are from people that are in trouble with something, and they're asking me if you can make it, how do you make it? I think I have a unique perspective being gay and being both in the states and the feds, and both going to pretty much every level of security throughout both of those. I think I'm that like that's I have a unique experience in that aspect, and so I get a lot. I think at least one third of the emails I get are from people that are in trouble or have a cousin or family member in trouble. Are having. I can't, but Dan will
Yeah.
for me.
I wanted to clarify this. We're not going to be smuggling a phone in with him, and Shakie's not bringing a phone with him. What it
Definitely.
is they have, it's kind of like they have Skype calls. I don't know if his prison has it. Now, some of my clients, we do Skype calls where I'm able to record them. Most of my clients don't want anybody to know they're in prison. It's that I wish they would be more vulnerable about it, but as long as Shakie is not disclosing anybody's private information, he's not, the BOP is full of shit. I mean, technically he can say whatever he wants, but they will retaliate. But if he's in there saying, hey, today I walked the track, we made some food. If he's just in there kind of talking about his daily, yes, I can take that information from the video call because I have all the cool toys, guys. And we can make some really cool videos and we can share this back out there on Shakie's channel to keep you guys kind of up to speed where he is. But that will depend on whether or not. Now, worst case, I can do phone calls with them, which all my software down here, I can record the calls. I can record audio and then put Shakie's smiley face up on the screen while we're. And then when he gets out, you might not recognize him because the BOP has a way of transforming you.
Yes.
Because if you're forced into a level of activity, one of the best things to do in prison to kill time is walk the track. And walking the track, I probably walked an average of. For me, activity was like my number one goal, but even the average person that's just there to kill time, they're probably walking, let's call it 5-6 miles a day. That's
yeah. And that's last time I was there. I was very active because I worked on the yard, but I was also like, I was very competitive in volleyball, and it was like it was war. It was like I don't know if I could say this. It was like the SOs versus the regular gay people.
Yeah.
Like we were not, and they were good as fuck.
Bro, the gay people at Coleman, they got along just fine because we were at a low security. So we had other fish to worry about, the sex offenders. And look, I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. There, I didn't understand it at all. Like sex offenders were the cockroaches in the world to me. In the world that I'm in now and what I do as a career. I've had so many sex offenders call me, and yes, I can give you actually before I keep getting this question every time I do a video. People want to see what my studio looks like. So before I sign off,
I want to see that too.
I'll turn the camera around.
I saw it on the thing, but I want to see it.
Yeah, let me turn this camera on right here. I'll switch my screen in a second. The sex offenders, I'm not asking anybody to understand it. I'm not asking anybody I'm not justifying what they do, but I will tell you, at the end of the day, there's no difference between a sex offender and a heroin addict. The difference is heroin addicts hurting himself and maybe his family, indirectly. Sex offenders, every single one of them that I've spoken to on the phone that are getting ready to go to prison, the conversation at some point comes up, and the common denominator that they all say is like, usually it's child pornography, it's photo type stuff. They'll say at the moment while they're doing it, they get off, whatever they do, right? But the minute they're done, they're disgusted. They hate it. They wish they'd never done it. They hate themselves. They don't know what it is that's making them do that. And they delete everything. They break their computers. But then the urge, the compulsion, the addiction resurfaces, and they don't have an outlet. Many people don't know this with sex offenders. If you've ever done a sex offense crime and you decide you want help for it, if you go to a therapist and tell a therapist, they are by law obligated to report you. So it makes it real hard for them. And plus, it's so fucking taboo. Like, that's the one crime, no matter what your crime is, at least I'm not a sex offender, as you know, that's like the number. So I don't justify what they do, but I will tell you, every single one of the sex offenders, they have a mother, they have a father that still cares about them. So when I take them on as clients, it's usually more for their support system, because even the moms and the dads of the sex offenders, they don't know who to talk to about it because everyone judges them like, oh my God, your kid did this. So they feel like they're all alone and vented up and don't know where to. So when I finally came to terms with that on how do I do this without wishing them to not get any help, it was a hard page to turn. It's even hard to admit it openly because I get judged for that too. But yeah, that's my take on sex offenders, guys.
My take on sex offenders, I have to say this. I know we're impressed, but
no,
I
we're
do
not
have.
impressed.
Oh, go well, good. So I came from a medium where there's zero sex offenders. They can't walk the yard.
Right.
They like Pollock. Think about it. And
Yeah.
so I had no, I didn't even know like that was a thing. And so I'm thrust into Oakdale Low, where it's they're still so low. I remember saying a low. This is a low that's kind of politicized a bit like a medium.
Right.
It's there's a car, there's a gay car, and in the gay car is the sex offenders. It's the SOs that are in the gay car. They just said that that's the car you're in. And so Dominique, who's actually from Florida, who wasn't Coleman, was the shot caller for the gay car when I got there at first. I actually became the shot caller for the gay car. Long story about how that happened, but it's weird. But anyway, it's like I'm like, these are sex offenders. How are they even grouped in with us? But they are anyway. Nonetheless, I get a cellmate who is still there. Her name is Stan. His name is Stan. But so he's an SO. And so when I come in the cell, he just puts his stuff on the top and he's like, I'm an SO. This is what it is. He tells his story. What happened? Oh, yeah.
Sorry.
So
I hit the wrong button. My bad.
no, that's okay. And so he tells his story. I mean, and so I think I just got into his psychosis a little bit, and he's not like he never touched anybody, but he did look at pictures, and he's like just kind of like what you said, just like kind of disgusted with himself. And I'm kind of just talking to him. He didn't need prison; he needed help. He needed like some type of psychological help. He did prison. He like and it gave him a lot of time. Like he's still not. I'd have left. He was there before me. I'd have left, came back, and he's still there. I talked to him the other day, and it's just like you're a human being who made a mistake. I'm a human being that made a mistake. I mean, at root, that's who we are, and I can't judge anybody. My faith prevents me from doing that. And if you truly, I mean, no matter how, I might not want it. I might not do it. But so, and I think that Stan proves a lot. Besides email, our time was probably the same.
Yeah.
They get the same amount of like there's stuff they can do. They've done
a long time, and they're not beat up in a low security. They're almost
No.
protected. It's almost like you fuck with a sex offender in a low. Now in a medium or something like that, like you said, they check in different inmates.
Yeah.
More of an inmate ran in a low. You're in a lot of lows are ran like protective custodies.
No.
So if you were to go and attack a sex offender, it would be the same.
It's like a hate crime.
It'd be the same as if I were a white man and I went and attacked you purely because you're black.
Yeah,
and I use that as my motive. That hate, like he just said, you keep stealing my thunder. Damn it. Hate crime. But yeah, he's absolutely right. The hate crime's in there. So you have, but I'll tell you, there was a certain look that a lot of them would have. There was a, like, when I say look, for like at least the white guys that were sex offenders, a lot of them, when I say look, they looked like, I don't mean it in a derogatory way. They looked like older men that psychologically never completely grew up all the way. They maybe like live at home. They real low self-esteem, and they have a better connection with kids than they do adults. So there's this thing that never developed where they're probably always going to have that issue,
Right.
and prison's a hard spot to get help for it because it's just not where you want to be if you got that crime.
Right.
But dude, I'm glad you have a perspective on it that is, and again, not condoning what they've done. I have kids. I can't imagine if somebody did that to my kids, but the cops do fucking perpetrate this shit because half the websites that are out there, like to catch predators and stuff, these are
adults
agencies putting photographs out there to bait these people in.
It's like entrapment almost.
It really is entrapment. If you ever watched How to Catch a Predator with Ted, whatever his name is, that's all staged to get this guy.
Right.
And sure, they're getting him, but he's going to be out in 2 years with no rehabilitation. And I met a guy in Coleman that had been on that show, How to Catch twice. He got caught twice, 2 times. Poor guy. And there were some people in there they had their own TV room. They had their own tables for eating chow hall.
Right.
Just like you said, they had their own cars that they would hang out in.
Yeah.
Cars for us, where I was, they weren't so much politically race cars. They were more like we had workout cars. We had like what car do you work out with? And I was the only white guy that worked out in the black cars. Out of 3,000 inmates, I was the only one that, because it's a different level of workout. A lot of the white guys in there, and I sound like I'm bashing white guys. I'm really not. Just the prison I was at was comprised of a lot of like more of the hillbilly-ish. I can say hillbilly. I'm a white guy. I can. That's claim the word hillbilly. And they had a very, very set focus on how they viewed anybody that wasn't white. And they weren't educated the way they would say things. And it's just I didn't click with them. You know, I was allowed in the black TV rooms. I could go, you know, I would go watch Love and Hip Hop. And sometimes guys look around like, what's he doing in here? And people that knew me, like, yo, that's Wise, leave him alone. And I got along with everybody, but I gave everybody respect.
Right.
I didn't attack, and I just didn't agree with what some other guys are like. Oh, can't hang out with the ends. Can't you get caught with an end? I'm like, dude, we're not at a fucking maximum security prison, bro.
Right. We're at a low.
Everybody in here, all of you motherfuckers got 5K1, so stop acting like you're all tough gangsters.
Right.
I want you to go to trial. You're bullshit. You can't ask for paperwork in a low, so it's not like people can't paperwork. So
Right.
in there, oh, I've got a Maybach, I've got $1 million in the bank.
I'm an astronaut. Whatever.
Exactly. Yeah, you got no
the moon, NASA. You give me, you were that white guy that could do. There's always that one white guy that could do whatever you want, and nobody tells him nothing. I was that one gay guy because I'm a big guy. I'm like 6'3".
You're not taking it. You look. You know, being gay comes with certain discriminatory views. Right. But you're not going to be a fucking brat about it every time. You have to halfway expect sometimes to get that. And you have to know how to handle it, especially in a prison environment. You can't pop off and want to. Now, if somebody crosses a line, that's a different story. But you've got to know, pick and choose your battles. Honestly, my nickname with the brothers was, and I can't say it because we're on YouTube, but it was N Dan. Not a hard R. It was that was the joke. They made me a Spades hat, and it was I could out burpee them, and it was I really, and I respected the fact that they saw my heart in there, that I wasn't there to, and I learned a lot. There's people in there that I never would have associated with on the street, that I would have just I would have looked at them and stereotyped them, and oh, gold teeth, they must be into some weird shit. Now I've learned that grew up different places, but when you get to know people, I eventually stopped seeing all of that. Like I no longer saw this guy as gold teeth in his mouth. If you look at some of my photos, it was like, wow, the old me, the way I was raised and the world I was brought up in a white privileged world. And everybody thinks, people that don't understand white privilege, it's because just because I grew up poor doesn't mean I didn't have white privilege. That's not what, when you say white privilege or what systemic racism is, it's not about the level of poor you grew up in. The average white person, now, sure, there might be some exceptions to the rule, but the average white person, poor or not, I never had to worry about getting profiled and pulled over because of the color of my skin. I never had to worry about those things. Those were just things that didn't concern me. And systemically through time, that has created a lot of diversion and hate and diversity that is just now is really getting tapped into really hard. That's why it's worse now than it ever was. It's because we had to fucking stir shit up to create, and eventually it's gonna go where it needs to go. But people are like, well, I grew up in a trailer park, I grew up in a poor neighborhood. That's not what they're saying. They're not saying that you don't know what it's like to be poor, but you've never had to walk down the street and think you're gonna get profiled, or cops, just because they see you, think you're the one that robbed somebody. White people for the most part don't deal with that
at all.
So I got a lot of hate for my views on that, and I wasn't taking sides. I don't usually take sides, but when you really break down the science of it, you can say what you want. Black people are fucking profiled for fucking decades, bro.
Right.
And they still are, but understanding that, and I'm also not the Captain Save-A-Ho white guy that wants to go save everybody either. I'm not that guy.
Right.
I just have an understanding of it. What I learned in prison taught me that some of the best people I met, white, black, whatever color they were, I met some of the best people that I never would have associated with if it wasn't for that environment. And I learned some new things about myself. And for me, I'm glad that I went through it. But
gotcha.
All right, let's show it. Man, I hope this video gets shown. Everybody wants to say, let me give a real quick view of here what we got. So this is the studio, guys. I don't know if you can see past the lights, but
it's so awesome. I want to come there. Are you like, I want to, it looks so.
That's a TV in the background that we usually use. So I have a lot of guests that come in. A lot of guests that come in for another little YouTube channel I have.
What's the other YouTube channel? What is it? What are you
It's
doing?
so I created because I'm just recently moved to Melbourne, Florida, from Palm Beach County, Florida, which is kind of like not too far from Orlando, and I wanted to open a studio like very Joe Rogan style, where we bring entrepreneurs, artists, anybody that's made it. When I say made it, not necessarily successful, but most people that have made success out of their life had multiple failures before they were successful. So we created a podcast YouTube channel called Entrepreneurs Roadmap: Failure to Launch. Basically, most people are going to fail many times before they get to where they want to go. So we bring people in here that have gone through this, and they talk about what it took to get to where they are and the adversity they had to overcome. Like women-owned businesses, a lot of them, they struggled extra hard. We got a guy that lost his leg and he turned it into this. Now, I mean, just amazing things. But it's a hobby right now. There's no money being made from it. But the studio is badass. And if you would get you to Florida, man, have you sit at the table. I don't know if you're allowed to drink alcohol, but we usually
I don't care if I am or not. I'm drinking it. It doesn't. I'm gonna drink it.
Shakie, brother, I appreciate you coming on, guys, and
No
all
problem.
of your love and supporters out there that are there for you. That's a beautiful thing you got, so don't ever forget it. And I don't think you will. But what do you want to leave people with before we sign off here? Do you have any catchphrases you say when you check out?
I love you. That's it. I love you. Thank you so much for having me. I love you all. Thank you for spending this time with us today. Make sure y'all follow Dan. RDAP Dan is the man. Y'all make sure y'all follow him as well on here. Subscribe to his channel. Definitely. As Entrepreneurs Roadmap as well. Make sure y'all follow that channel too. We want to get into that.
Thank you, Husker.
As well.
Appreciate it.
So thank you. I love you all. Thank you so much, Dan, for having me. I love the prison outfit that keeps popping up. I think I'm gonna go in full drag just to see what happens. I think I have to top you. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely take pictures
before you walk in the doors, and I'll show people what you went in with. I'll
okay, got you.
All right, guys. I'm RDAP Dan, Federal Prison Time Consulting, people up and people, communities method, one day at a time, and see you soon.
All right.